Hello everyone and welcome to BFB But There Is No Split V3, Part 1, BFB 17 through 32. That's right, I'm doing this one final time. Keep in mind that Spongy and Loser do not rejoin because 4 catches them, kills them, and recovers them directly into the exit. 2 never comes at all either. This is the current state of the exit as of BFB 16. This is the order of teams being up for elimination. And these are the teams, once again as of BFB 16. Before we get started, I want to mention that this version of If BFB But There Is No Split will be formatted differently. This is because there will only be 4 weekly parts this time, instead of 8, and I want to try not to make each part too lengthy. And the reason there will only be 4 weekly parts instead of 8 is because after November 30th, I am going to be done with this channel, and probably YouTube as a whole for good. I figured doing this series would be a good send-off given that it's how this channel got big in the first place. Now that that's all out of the way, we have no time to lose, so let's get started. We start at BFB 16, and BFB 17 would still see a debuter. Beep are the smallest team and have been smaller for longer, so they get them. There is basically zero chance that anyone other than winner is winning the debut in any timeline, assuming the pool of debuters is the same in the first place, of course, which it likely would be. Next up is an elimination. Free Food loses since they have the second longest win streak, and Death Pact are a pretty strong team. As part of the new format, I'm going to spend a significant amount of time on an elimination if there is more than one outcome that could reasonably occur. This is not one of those times, as Foldy is pretty obviously out here. While Death Pact are a pretty strong team, they aren't so strong that their win streak would last much longer than this. Here seems about right for when they lose. Just like with Foldy's elimination on Free Food, I cannot see Death Pact's elimination here going any way other than Pi being the one to leave the game. I think the losers have gone long enough without a loss at this point to get up for elimination again. As a result, they will lose a member this time. For the 3rd time in a row, the eliminated player is pretty obvious, and for the 2nd time in a row, they happen to be a food item. So long, Eggy. Yet another lengthy streak is broken here, as a better name than that will be next up to lose a member. The result is yet another obvious one. TV only really started to actually do things in Teapot, and since that season never occurs in this timeline, he would be in serious trouble. I will have 8 names lose next simply because they are the last team to not lose multiple times. Assuming that BFB remains vote to eliminate, at least for the remainder of the current stage of the game, Lollipop is clearly the one out here, there's no way around it. The end of BFB 22 will see a vote to rejoin instead of an elimination vote. Everybody in the exit will be eligible. The rejoin would come down to Pencil and Loser, who would both be far ahead of everybody else except somewhat Lite and Bracelety. Beep would have won the rejoiner due to Winner turning things around for them remarkably well. People would definitely want to take the opportunity to put Loser on Winner's team, so he wins. And now we go back to regular eliminations. This time I choose Free Food because I believe they aren't that strong of a team. For better or for worse, I think this is where Yellowface falls. I don't really see any of the other remaining members of the team getting out here. Just a couple episodes after Loser rejoins the game, Beep ends up losing. Keep in mind, this would be before Winner realized Loser didn't forget them, so they may not be willing to work together. Like all the other eliminations so far, Rocky is yet another one who is obviously the one out from his team. It's been an awfully long time now since Iance has lost a member, a whole 14 episodes. How about I put them up for elimination next? While I could see this one being somewhat close between Snowball and Flower, in all likelihood it wouldn't really be close. Snowball is easily out, as Flower was getting much more focus at this time. Next, it's going to be Team Ice Cube's turn to lose a member. After this, they will only have 4 left. The one who leaves would probably be Naily. Barfbag is basically untouchable in Vote to Eliminate, and Donut has a talent for escaping the bottom 2. Bommy and Gelatin also have more fans than her. I think it is high time for a better name than that to lose a member again. There is virtually no doubt in my mind that Robot Flower is the one who would get the most votes out of the contestants on this team. Golf Ball is the only other one who might come close, honestly. I think the losers losing another team member is long past overdue at this point. After all, they still have 7 members even as another team only has 4. While the eliminations are starting to become a little bit less clear-cut, we aren't quite there yet. Clock is clearly the next one out on the losers. Just like it was overdue for the losers to lose another member on their team, it is also overdue for Death Pact to lose another member on theirs. We finally have an elimination where there is more than one contestant I could see it being. However, even then, I still think Bottle is clearly more likely to get out than Pillow. Free Food will be the other team to get down to 4 members before the second stage of the game. I could see Free Food's elimination here being either Fries or Puffball, but I think Puffball will get out, as Puffball has done much more to turn people away from her than Fries has from him. The final elimination of both the first stage of the game and the first part of the series will be a member of 8 names. The member that will get out from 8 names will be Book, though there is an outside possibility of it also being Gatey. That will be it for Part 1. Part 2, which will cover BFB 33 through 48, will usher in a new stage of the game, so be sure to look forward to that. Thank you for watching. Part 2 releases next Saturday, so make sure to subscribe with notifications on. Welcome everyone to BFB But There Is No Split V3 Part 2, BFB 33 through 48. This time we're just going to dive right into it instead of recapping as to where we left off last time. All you need to know is that we are down to our final 40 and that a new stage in the game is about to begin. We have no time to lose, so let's get started. Before we can continue properly, we need to create new teams for this new stage in the game. I will do 5 teams of 8 since that's the best way to split them up evenly. And done. This new arrangement also means the space for the text box is less claustrophobic now, which is an added bonus. Anyways, the teams will just be called Team 1 through Team 5. Team 1 is the one with Teardrop on it, Team 2 is the one with Blocky, Team 3 is the one with Woody, Team 4 is the one with Leafy, and Team 5 is the last one. However, instead of an elimination to start the phase off, one of these teams will gain a new member in a rejoin. At this point in the game, Lite would probably be the winner of a rejoin. Pencil would be her only real competition, but even then it wouldn't be very close. Now it's time for the actual first elimination of the phase. Fittingly enough, Team 1 is the first team to lose a member. This is a tough call to make as it could reasonably be any of the 4 on screen currently. The determining factor is the elimination method, which I believe would be vote to save starting this stage of the game. In that case, I think Ruby would narrowly be eliminated. Team 3 will have the next team that I will have lose a member, as I feel this is a team that wouldn't do all that well in challenges. Given the switch to vote to save, Nickel is the clear loser on this team of popular characters. Even Cloudy is spared by the presence of Balloony and vice versa. Team 4 will be up next. Team 5 has the rejoiner, Team 2 seems too strong to have lose just yet, and other teams have already lost. This one is the most clear-cut of the phase thus far. Saw is out of the game, the first on our team to leave just like in the real Teapot. She only has a slightly higher rank here too. As I've already stated, Team 3 seems kind of weak challenge-wise, so I'll have them lose again. After all, imbalanced team sizes make things more interesting. I think Woody's popularity will have declined enough by this point to where he will end up getting out in something of an upset. It could be pretty close between him and Pillow, however. This time, I'm going the more obvious route, and having Team 5 finally lose a challenge. Team 5's elimination is clearly only a race between Belle and Cake and maybe Ice Cube, but her alliance ties would probably save her. I think Belle narrowly gets out because I feel like people generally like Cake's design better, which would save him. Now I will do something less immediately obvious and have Team 5 lose a second challenge in a row. This time, Cake is not safe. Instead, he is out of the game. And now I will finally have Team 2 lose a challenge, putting an end to their win streak. You would think we have a Teapot 3, Team 8's, or Teapot 9 Are You OK situation where any one of them could get out, but I think there is a clear loser on this team. So long, Gelatin. I am not yet done putting Team 3 through the ringer. They will be losing yet another member now. Even though Cloudy is definitely helped by having Balloony still around, that boost doesn't last forever, and he will end up facing the end eventually. The next team to lose will be Team 4, pretty much purely because I feel like it's their time to lose another member. When you take one look at who her competition is, it's no surprise that Gady is pretty much cooked here. Team 1 hasn't lost since the beginning of this stage of the game. It's about time I have them lose again, I think. I feel like Fanny would get a fair amount of development just like she has in Teapot, while Lightning would end up falling into irrelevance and eventually getting eliminated. Today is a special occasion because not only are we down to under half as many contestants as we started with, there's going to be another debut. Since there is no way of knowing who the debuter would be in this timeline, I will be using price tag as a placeholder for whoever it would actually be. They will go onto Team 3. This episode, it's time for another member of Team 2 to draw an L from the bag of L's. In other words, they lose this time. I think Coiny would wind up getting eliminated here as nobody would expect him to get out and would vote for other members of the team as a result. It's pretty much how we got out of Teapot, so it makes sense to me. I don't want the teams to be balanced, so that rules out Team 5. No Team 3 either because they just got a debuter. Of the remaining teams, I feel like Team 4 is the most deserving of another loss right now. After all of this time, I think it is finally time for Fiery's time competing on the show to time out. I do not know why I said time so many times though. Now that Team 1 is the team that has spent the longest without losing, besides Team 5 who I still don't want to balance out yet, I will have Team 1 lose a member. Kind of like Coiny, Bubble will be a situation where nobody will vote for her because everybody will assume she is safe and she will end up getting out because of it. I think the debuter will have had long enough to prove themselves by now, so Team 3 will finally lose again. I do not have much to say about this one. Balloony will end up narrowly below Pillow in the vote with Cloudy gone, and will get out as a result. I think I've waited long enough to have Team 5 lose again. If anything, I might have waited too long as this is the last episode of Part 2. Oh well, better late than never. There is no way around it. Basketball was pretty much screwed the next time her team lost. Naturally, she is out of the game. That will be it for Part 2. Part 3, which will cover BFB 49 through 64, will usher in another new stage in the game. Not the merge just yet, though. Thank you for watching. Part 3 releases next Saturday, so make sure to subscribe with notifications on. Hello everyone and welcome to BFB But There Is No Split V3, Part 3, BFB 49 through 64. We have no time to lose, so let's get started right away without even a recap. Even though it says BFB 48 down there, we are starting with the elimination that occurs in BFB 49. I did also mention that a new stage in the game last time would happen, but that isn't gonna happen quite yet. To start off this part, a team will be reduced to 4 members, and that team just so happens to be Team 4. By this point, loser and winner will have made up, so there won't be much point in keeping loser around, even as he has done a lot to make people like him more by now. This leaves winner as the only non-plant on Team 4. I think it has been just long enough for the debuter on Team 3 to prove themselves to the viewers by this point, for me to put that team up for elimination again. There's very little doubt that of the contestants on Team 3, Pillow is the one getting the short end of the stick here. This episode is the last of the current phase, and the last team to lose during this phase will be Team 5. Realistically, anyone on this team except for Donut and Lite could potentially be in danger here for one reason or another. However, I think Barfbag is the one that winds up not making it to the third stage of the game. Here, at the final 24 is where we will see the third phase of the game, which will have 4 teams of 6. A new stage in the game also means a new layout that's even less claustrophobic for this text box. In fact, I doubt most of this space will even go used most of the time. Anyways, the naming schemes of the teams are the same as last time for the sake of simplicity, with Team 1 having Teardrop, Team 2 having Blocky, Team 3 having Leafy, and Team 4 having Ice Cube. Last phase's Team 3 was simply dissolved into the other teams. Now, who is going to lose? I choose Team 2 because they are not only unchanged from the last phase, but have also avoided elimination for the longest compared to the other contestants. There is little doubt in my mind as to how this one would turn out. Eraser was never as popular as his bros. I think it is about time for another rejoin, but with a twist. It will be a double rejoin, so 2 eliminated players will get to rejoin the game. One of them will go to Team 3, and the other will go to Team 4. The 2 characters that rejoin the game are Pencil and Lollipop. Pencil was the first out of the game, so she was bound to rejoin eventually. A lot of people may also think that Lollipop got out too early and want her back. Pencil goes to Team 3 and Lollipop goes to Team 4. Next on the chopping block is Team 1 because they did not get a rejoiner and haven't already lost in this phase. It would be a competitive race to be sure between him and probably Marker, but I think Tree would narrowly get out here. Team 2 will lose next because it still feels too soon for a rejoiner to get up for elimination, and also because debalancing the teams always makes things more interesting. It could realistically be any one of them, but I think Needle is easily the most likely to get out between them all. I can't reasonably delay having one of the rejoiner teams losing any longer, so I will have it be Team 4 because Lollipop is probably less likely to get out than Pencil. With Pencil back in the game, I don't see Ice Cube getting out here. Instead, I would say Bommy gets out. He has been skating by long enough. In the interest of guaranteeing that Pencil gets another episode of development, I will have Team 1 lose this time. It's almost certainly Marker who would get out here, and it probably wouldn't even be close given who he is up against. At long last, it is finally time for Pencil's team, Team 3, to be put up for elimination. After all, they are the last team this phase to not have lost yet. I think Grassy will have reached a point where he is simply unable to compete with the contestants he is up against. It is his time to leave. I will give Teams 1 and 2 a break for a while and instead put Team 4 up for elimination again. Pencil being around might be enough to save Ice Cube once, but I doubt it will be a second time a row. Team 3 will be next up to lose a member after BFB 59. Given that Pencil is actively undergoing development, Flowers has likely wrapped up by this point, and the others are more popular than her, she will not be making it to the end this time. In the name of keeping things unbalanced, I choose Team 1 to lose a member. Fanny has been getting really lucky for a good while now, but considering who her teammates are, I can't see her getting any further than she has. In BFB 61, it's Team 4's turn to lose a member. There really isn't that much for me to say here. There isn't really anything left for Taco to do at this stage of the game, so she gets out here. As we approach the end of Part 3, one more team will be reduced to 3 members. That one will be Team 2 since they have not lost in quite a few episodes. Much like Taco, I feel like by now Blocky is at a point where there isn't really much left to do with him, so he'll just get less focus until he ends up leaving the game. BFB 64 is the final episode that I will cover in this part, and also the last episode of this stage of the game. We will end off with Team 3 losing one last member. I feel that between Pencil's development and Leafy possibly making some huge mistakes in the episode leading up to this point, it's the end of the line for her after her rejoin. That will be it for Part 3. Part 4, which will be the final part, will cover BFB 65 through the finale, BFB 80. Thank you for watching. Part 4 releases next Saturday, so make sure to subscribe with notifications on. Welcome everyone to BFB But There Is No Split V3. Part 4, BFB 65 through 80. We have no time to lose, so let's get started. With only 14 contestants remaining, I think now is as good of a time as any to do the merge. Needless to say, I do not believe there is much to say about it as there are no teams to discuss. However, I will choose 4 contestants to be safe, while the rest will be up for elimination. For the first merge elimination, it will be Pen Remote winner and the unspecified second debuter who will win immunity. Out of the other 10 contestants, I think Tennis Ball may actually be the least likely to survive a vote to save vote. I think now is as good of a time as any to do another rejoin, while we are freshly into the merge but not right at the start of it. The exit is very crowded at this point, so there are many potential candidates, but in all likelihood, I think Coiny would be the one who ends up rejoining this time. It's been long enough since he's got out. Coiny will get auto immunity due to having just rejoined, so I will pick 4 in addition to him this time. I choose Pencil, Donut, Fries, and Golf Ball. By this point, Winner's novelty will have worn off long ago and they will also be much less relevant, so it's the end for them. This time, I grant Coiny, Pin, Lite, and the unknowable debuter immunity, while everybody else will be up for voting. Fries has lasted a very long time, but I think he can't get any further than this. He is definitely a strong contender, but not that strong. Today, Pencil, Remote, Black Hole, and Pen will win the challenge, and everyone else will lose. Much like with Winner, the unknowable debuter, as represented by Price Tag, will have seen their novelty worn off by now given that they've been around for a good while. Now we are down to just 1/6 of the total cast size remaining, and I will cut down to 3 immunity slots. Those will go to Pencil, Lollipop, and Teardrop. While Lite has done a lot to make people support her more since she rejoined, it can't last forever, meaning she gets out just before the final 10. Final 10, but soon it will be the final 9, the single digits, with Black Hole, Donut, and Pin guaranteed entry into. As was also the case with Lite, Pencil may have received a lot of development, but this late in the game, it's not enough to save her, not even over the other one she rejoined with, Lollipop. The 3 contestants that will attain immunity this time are Remote, Golf Ball, and Lollipop. Donut is very good at dodging close eliminations and surviving bottom 2 clinchers, but he can't keep it up forever against such steep competition, especially as it narrows further. Starting from this episode, only 2 contestants will win immunity. Those will be Coiny and Pin this time, due to their teamwork. Lollipop is hated by many, but loved by many as well. Her competition is very tough though, and being a rejoiner definitely does not help her this late in the game. Speaking of rejoiners, it's time for us to do one last rejoin for the season. There are 59 contestants it could be, all vying for one final chance to win the show. The race to win another chance would be a tough, heated one. However, I think Tennis Ball would be the one to come out on top, as he does still have a very sizable fan base. Tennis Ball will be automatically granted one of the safe spots due to having just rejoined, so 2 others will rejoin him. Those 2 will be Pen and Remote. This time, Pin will be the victim of the same fate that befell Coiny when he originally got out of the game. People will assume she is safe, and she will get less votes, resulting in her downfall. Back down to 2 immunity slots this time. They will be occupied by Black Hole and Coiny. Since Tennis Ball likely wouldn't get voted out right away due to having just rejoined, Pen gets out in something of an upset. Now that we are down to 6 contestants left, only 1 immunity slot will be doled out at a time. This episode, it will be Remote who claims it. While I feel like all of the 5 contestants up for voting would be very close to one another, I think Golf Ball would fall just short compared to the rest. This episode's single immunity slot goes to Teardrop, which means the rest are all up for elimination. Since Coiny rejoined longer ago than Tennis Ball, I think he falls first between the 2. Here we have our final 4. I think BFB 78 and 79 will be a 2-parter in the same vein as BFB 13 and 14 or BFDIA 19 and 20. This is to ensure that the finale is between 4 contestants in the season hosted by 4. But which one of them do I think will end up coming out on top? I will rule out Tennis Ball first of all, since he is a rejoiner. And despite how strong he has been the entire game, I'm not sure Black Hole would be able to pull it off either. It's down to Teardrop and Remote, the voiceless and the robot voice. Which one do I think would win the season? It would be a hard-fought vote war to be sure, but I think Teardrop would triumph in the end, meaning she wins the BFDI and any other prizes that get added to the prize pool later on. That is the conclusion of BFB, but there is no split. That also means that this is the end of my YouTube career as a whole. There were several times before where I almost quit, but I am doing it for real this time. It has been a nice 4 years, 6 months and change. However, change is exactly what I need in my life, and that change does not include this channel. That doesn't mean I will never return, but I also wouldn't count on it. As such, at least for now, this is goodbye. You could say that it's been a super fun time.